Hi everybody, today we are in the garden and I have been planting out my sweet peas. I've got all of them outside just now apart from one later batch which are just coming away as little seedlings just now. And over the last couple of years I've tried different things growing my sweet peas and found something that works for me. So I'm going to show you that today. So when should you plant out your sweet peas in the garden? Well, this is the last week of May and I've been doing this all week. And it's around the last frost date now, so it's quite safe to put them outside and they'll grow away really well for you. Any time over the next couple of weeks will be absolutely fine to get your sweet peas out. Over the years, I've tried a few different ways of growing my sweet peas to get nice long stems for flower arranging. And at the moment, I am trying this method where I am putting 6 to 8 foot canes into a row and I am putting a sturdier tree post at each end to attach the canes to for a little bit more stability. And then on top of these canes I hang netting, and in the past I've used plastic netting because that's what I had in the house, but I'm trying to be more environmentally friendly now and I have used biodegradable netting made out of jute this year, so we'll see how that works. So far it's hanging really well on the posts. It does move around slightly more in the wind and we might need to do a little bit more tying in of the sweet peas to it, but it looks really good and I hope this will be the way forward now to use when planting out my sweet peas. All sweet peas need something to grow up against. They grow at a really fast rate once they get going. They can grow as much as 20 to 30 centimetres in height every week, and they actually become quite heavy once they're growing and they'll flop over really easily. And you can grow them up all sorts of things. You can grow them up a wigwam of canes that you've made. You can grow them up in a horizontal row like I'm doing here if you're growing quite a lot of them, or you can grow them up a wrought iron fence. I've seen lots of people do that in the local town that I live in, and they look really nice in people's front gardens in the summertime. So just anything that you can have support. I use netting with my main frame here because there's an awful lot of sweet peas growing. They get really heavy and they need tied in and well supported. But if you're just growing a few sweet peas, then a wigwam of canes or your front fence might be absolutely fine to train them up against. To prepare the beds for planting, I have just weeded them and then I have added some good garden compost to them. And I also use some green garden compost from Caledonian Horticulture, which is really good if I need topping up and I don't have quite enough myself. And then they like moisture retentive soil. They like soil that's not going to dry out too much because they are hungry, thirsty plants and they will need a lot of moisture to grow well over the season for you. When you plant out your sweet peas, you don't need to split them into individual little plants to grow up one single one against a cane. When I was planting my seedlings, I had 2 seeds to a pot, and I can just plant those 2 plants out directly together at one cane. That's absolutely fine. You'll notice that sweet peas have lots of tendrils and side shoots growing out of their stems, and some people like to remove the tendrils and the side shoots, and this is called the Cordon Method of growing sweet peas. And in this way you will get more exhibition style sweet pea blooms. You won't get as many, but they will be of a superior quality. I don't remove the tendrils. It's quite a time consuming job and I like the foliage on the sweet pea plants as well. You can use that in flower arranging as well as the flowers. So I just leave it and grow it just up the canes and tying them in, not cutting any of the side shoots away, and so I'll get more flowers but maybe not the longer stem length that you otherwise would. Sweet peas need tying into their supports with something, and I use garden twine to do this. I just cut off small sections of twine and I tie it around the cane and then around the sweet pea stem, quite high up on it where the new growth is occurring, and that just helps support it. And I make sure that I tie the twine fairly loosely. I don't want it too tight around it because you need room for the stem to be able to grow and it'll get thicker as it grows. And also you don't want to accidentally snap the stem when you are applying the twine. Once my sweet peas are planted out, their ongoing care involves making sure that they are watered regularly, especially in dry spells in the summer. They like moisture in the soil, so just keep a check on that and water them every few days if it's needed. Also, giving them a feed with some potash-rich feed such as tomato fertilizer is a good idea every couple of weeks. Just use the amount that it says on the packet added to your watering can. And they'll also need to make sure that you tie them in as they grow. So they will be growing at a fast rate of 20 to 30 centimetres in a week, and they will easily flop over. So make sure that you adjust any ties that you've got there. Make sure they're not too tight against the stems you've already tied in, and then tie any new longer stems up your canes, and that'll just support them as the flowers grow. Once you start to get flowers, you need to pick, pick, pick. Make sure that you're cutting them, and that will stimulate more flowers to be produced. If you just leave them on the bush, that's absolutely fine, but they will then go to seed fairly quickly and your display of flowers will be over. So enjoy a few in the garden to look at, but also cut some for indoors as well to enjoy, and that'll just keep the sweet peas going for longer. Thanks for watching my video about sweet peas this week. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I plant them out in my garden here at Cloudberry Flowers. You can also have a look at some of my other videos about how to sow the seeds and how to pinch out the sweet peas to get bushier plants and more flowers. I've been managing to get a lot planted out this week. The weather has not been great here at Cloudberry Flowers. It has been very, very wet, which is meant for some very muddy planting. But the weather looks like it is just starting to get a little bit warmer now, and next week is looking nice and sunny. So hopefully those flowers will get away now they're out in the garden, and I'll be able to show you them. Hopefully we'll do a tour next week looking around the garden and what is flowering at the beginning of June.